So this is the recap for live stream 347, and today should have been a better day than it did turn out to be, but having some difficulties following the plan here. So let's have a look at the trades I took and the trades I should not have taken and the overall results on the account. So came into the market. We had CPI news. CPI came out a little bit higher than expected. And of course, we do expect that to impact what the Fed does going forward. We also have PPI due later this week. So came into the market, felt the market was getting away from me. We did see the CPI come out around about 8:30 Eastern time. We can see this strong volume here to the upside. Not a lot in terms of volatility for gold, but came into the market around about the usual time, around the 11:30 Eastern. I think the first trade I decided to do was take a long trade. Thought prices came down here. Thought we could retest around the 408.8. Prices turned around and eventually took a loss there. Decided to go short, I believe. No, went long again. Took it off for a loss, went long, and took that off for a loss, long again. So I was taking it through here. None of these trades were setups. So this was pretty much trading out of boredom and feeling a bit of FOMO. So that's why I took all these trades through here. None of these trades were actual true setups. Had a true setup here. Went long. Decided to take, due to the amount of risk on the trade, took 50% off as the market went against me. So I had 50 contracts there. I think I reloaded 100 contracts here on a different setup that I've been testing out in the background. Managed to hit the target there. Reloaded again, and I believe I took it off for a loss over there. Through here, same scenarios over here. Decided to just simply not follow the plan. Decided I was going to go long, then went short, and just pretty much chopping myself up here. Eventually, the longs would have been stopped out anyway, as prices clear these lows. And let's see, there would have been a long setup here, and that would have worked out at the end of the day. So overtraded gold a fair bit today, taking setups that weren't actually true setups. On ES, again, we had the CPI news. You can see it here on the charts with the high volume, 8:30 Eastern. Strong move up. Price, we opened here. Didn't quite get to the highs from the CPI news. Instead, prices turned around, cleared these swing lows here. Didn't quite clear the CPI lows. Turned around, rallied up, came into the market round about in this area, normally around 11:30. Took a long, hit profit, took a long again. I hit profit there, and let's see, what did I do here? Shouldn't have taken a short. Long, so I went long, added to the position, and accidentally added to the position again. So I was in more contracts than normal, and eventually prices did go on to hit the all-time new, well, came pretty close. I moved my target one tick down from the all-time highs around 68.25, and that's pretty much because price got to 67.75 and turned around 3 ticks from target. So we were about 11 ticks when prices, 11 ticks right here. Eventually prices came within 3 ticks, pulled back. Was disappointed, of course. Prices came down pretty close to my stop. Thought it would be stopped out. Surprisingly enough, wasn't stopped out by a single tick. Prices eventually went on to hit the designated target on our friends over at ES. And finally, again, similar scenario to over on gold. Took a bit of over trading. So had the CPI news, certainly a lot more volatility than we saw over on ES. We saw the CPI news on this candle. Prices rallied on the market open. Brief rally towards a high similar to ES, but on NQ we actually took out the CPI lows. So I took out the CPI lows before turning around. Eventually, I wouldn't be taking that trade because I'm not here at that point. I'm normally here around 10:30. Took a trade here long to hit the take profit right there. Took a trade long through here. Hit the... don't think that was a target actually. No, I had a larger target at one point set up at 29. But decided that after prices slowed down a bit here, that I'd just take it off at 21.75, see if I could get back in around 11.75 to go back up. But prices went through 29s, felt a bit of FOMO, so got back in at 21.75. So that was chasing it pretty much near the higher day. Prices turned around. Of course, the stop was very low. I didn't like the look of the price action. So I looking at another setup and eventually took that off for a loss. Of course, in hindsight, it would have worked out. Took it off for a loss, then went short, took that off, and through here, looking at other strategies, chopped up the account. Took a series of unnecessary losses, eventually decided to take a long, added to that position, looking for that move to the upside. Through these fib highs, and eventually target was hit, and at the end of day, took long again, and because we were pretty much near the end of day, now the target would have been hit. The target was into the 40s. So entry would have been 28. Target was into the 40s. But as prices just kept chopping around, adjusted my stop to break even, was stopped out for break even before price eventually went on to hit my target. And that was it for all the trades taken. Over on, so I got to be honest, due to taking more contracts than normal over on ES, I'm not happy with the overall trading I've done today. Also the fact that I also overtraded a fair bit on NQ and gold by looking at other strategies. So there were certainly areas for improvement. So we started the day in a hole, taking these small losses on gold. Eventually started picking up bigger wins here. Bigger wins, the odd loss sprinkled in here and there. Bigger wins, smaller losses, certainly more favorable metrics, smaller loss, medium-sized losses there. We can see smaller losses, bigger wins, 62, 68, 750, and this was the end of the day where we took that break even at the end. Now we'll have a look at the trade performance. Over on the trade performance here, we can see we took a total of 24 trades. We had 9 winners, 15 losers for only 38% accuracy. So I wasn't very accurate today. And that's primarily because I was taking those trades earlier on gold and NQ that weren't true setups. We can see the average win being 31, but the average loss being 11. So the only positive I can take from those bad trades was the fact that I had small losers on those trades. And that's the result, a smaller average loss, which is certainly favorable. We can see here on NQ, we took 8 trades, 4 wins, 4 losses, 50%. The average win being 31,875, average loss being 13,875. Oh, that's interesting. The exact same numbers but in a different order. That's interesting. It's just a 1 and a 3 in a different place. Okay. We can see here on ES we had 100% accuracy, 3 trades, 3 wins, and we picked up a profit of 117,500 there on ES. So certainly was trading ES favorably, average win being 39. Over on our friends at gold, this is where we did the overtrading. Took 13 trades, as we can see, the most traded instrument. We only picked 34 in terms of win, and as we can see there, we actually had a losing day on gold. So lost minus 77,500, 2 wins, 11 losses, 15% accuracy. The only positive I can take from our friends over at gold is the average win is larger than the average loss, but a lot of these losses were avoidable. So I definitely need to make sure that I am not over trading an instrument or taking trades out of boredom, because a lot of the gold trades were taken out of boredom. And with that said, that's pretty much going to wrap up the video. So I'll come back with a strategy. Now, this strategy I'm using is going to have problems, and I know this. It's only a matter of time. The market conditions have been favorable towards it, but over time, in a market that either transitions quickly or ranges, taking out highs, taking out lows, taking out highs, taking out lows, it's going to have drawdown. So I'm just aware of that, and I'll ultimately see how I'll manage it over time. But with that said, thanks for watching. Good luck trading. Have a great day.